Hari Om, Sarve Janah Sukhino Bhavantu. I'm going to tell about this will be my part number 7 of Manusmriti's wrongful interpretations by certain people and by Western authors also, how their translations are wrong, and so that the real uh, meaning behind this Manusmriti is understood well by public without misinterpretations and falsely accusing, abusing, and throwing tantrums on them on this text. You see, before that, Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu, Sarva Vyadi Nivarana Praptirastu, Sarva Aishwaryam Abhivirdhir Bhavatu Tadastu. Now I am directly going to 8th chapter, verse number 417. This is a very famous chapter because everybody I found quote from Western translation and put it in Google or how the calamitous structure of Manu is there in the Manusmriti. You see, the verse is this. Actual verse, Visrabdham Brahmanaha Shudrat Dravya Upadanam Acharet Nahi Tasya Asti Kimchit Swam Bhartruharya Dhano Hi Saha. The meaning is, meaning given by the Western scholar, the translation. How ridiculous it is. A Brahmana may confidently seize the goods of his, that is Sudra, slave, everything they write. For as that slave can have no property, his master may take his possessions. That means what they are saying, a Brahmana can seize the property of a Shudra. The Shudra cannot own a property, therefore the Brahmana can take his possessions. What absurdity it is. There is a seizure. Wait, what it is? I am going to tell you the meaning. Visrabdham Brahmana. Okay, he can take what? From the Shudrat, means it is Panchami Vibhakti, from the Shudra, Shudrat. What he can take? Dravya Upadanam. That's all. Not the goods. Dravya means chemicals, herbal, organic chemicals. Upadanam used in applications means medicines. Dravyam is normally means herbal medicines. Dravya Upadanam, the application of these dravyam, a Brahmana can seize it from a Shudra. Because nahi tasya, because it is not his, asti, it is not his, asti. Kinchit, even little he cannot have, because swam, he is the Bhartruharya Danaha. That is the interpretation. Bhartra means the Lord. You can say your Bharta, if you talk to your Bharta is so and so, your husband is so and so, means Lord of the female. So Bharta means, Sanskritam, pure meaning is Lord, the owner. Bhartu, he is the Dhana, he is the Harya means also happiness also it can mean. It can mean spent also, he has possession also, happiness. Also it can mean charming also. The charming wealth of the Brahmana is the Dhana, is the Shudra. Therefore he belongs to the Brahmana. That's what the author says. He, certainly, Saha, he. What? From that charming wealth of the Brahmana, the Shudra, Brahmana can take the Dravya Upadanam, the medicines, because the Shudra cannot treat the patients. He becomes a quack. Because Shudra, as per division of labor, is service oriented, agriculture oriented. Let him concentrate on that. Let him concentrate on plowing. Let him concentrate on ferrying goods. Let him concentrate. In modern times, we have people who are down the lane, municipal sewerage operators. They clean the severages. He is a Shudra. A rich Shudra will be there. An industrialist. He will not marry, give his daughter or son and marry the Shudra, though belong to the same caste. So everything is economics, wealth, intelligence, personality, the occupation. So just blaming Manusmriti that the Shudra is untouchable, where he says he himself calls Bhartruharya Danaha. The Danaha possessed by a Brahmana, the wealth is a Shudra. That's how he says. But what he can take from him? Only the Dravya Upadanam. Dravyam normally means it is medicine, organic chemicals, herbs. Chemicals coming from herbs for upadhanam, for application. Upadana means pillow. It also serves you your head. Upadanam, applications of dravyam. That a Brahmana can take, because he becomes a quack. If he starts treating, then neither he will be a good servant, nor he will be a good doctor, nor an engineer. So, Manusmriti text classified through division of labor what each samuha should do for the welfare of humanity. My God, this is how they translate. They translate as if a Brahmana can confidently seize the goods of his Sudra. What goods? Wealth, he says. That is wrong translation. Absolutely wrong. It's a Western-based translation, which is wrong for any low caste. They call a Sudra, and Sudra is untouchable. Low castes are not Shudras. The caste, the sect of people outside these four ashramas, varnas, I told you, they may be, I will give you examples further also, they may be ekajatihi, or they may be pashandakaha, they may be apakrishtajaha, avarajaha. I will give you all those examples. See, you see, we have the lots of sects like this, sects, sects, divisions we had in the society. So these Charvakas are outcasts. These are Panchama Varna, they are called. Not the Shudras. They come inside the Varnas. See, also, if you go to verse number 281, where people generally say, to 8th chapter, I am going to that verse. What that says is, he, as I said, they call Apakrishta Jaha. Apakrishta Jaha is one, Jaha is a person. Aparadham, Apamanam, and all we say, Apa is a Upasarga. Krishta, doer of something which is shameful. The person doing something shameful. He is called Apakrishta Jaha. They talk of Apakrishta Jaha only in the 8th chapter, verse number 281, which I will directly read out from the text translated by some foreign Western translation. It says, Sahasanam, Saha Asanam, Abhiprepsur, Utkrishtasya, Apakrishtajaha, Katayam, Krita Anko, Nirvasyaha, Svicham va Asya, Avakartayet. Avakartayet means cutting. What? Who? Apakrishtajaha is what he says. I told you what is meant by Apakrishtajaha. Apakrishta, doing shameful acts. So what? In this verse 281, which is again quoted by all these political people who are not Brahmanas especially, Saha Asanam. Along with him, if he climbs to an asana, the exact translation is, a low caste man who tries to place himself on the same seat with a man of high caste shall be punished. Shall be branded on his hip and be banished, or the king shall cause his backside place, the buttocks can be gashed, avakartayet, may be bashed or cut. This is what the translation it gives. But to whom they call it as lower caste, they call it as Shudra. Shudras, I told you, from Shudra, the Brahmana can take the Dravya Upadanam. But here, Saha, yes, he cannot climb up the asanam. The servant, even in modern times, can an ordinary soldier take, even a Kshatriya, a soldier, go and sit in the throne of a king? Or a speaker in the Lok Sabha, or a speaker in the Rajya Sabha, or the presidential chair, or the prime ministerial chair, or the chief minister's chair? Will they allow? That doesn't mean he is untouchable. The rules of the game, the rules of the law, the laws that are promulgated in a city, in a kingdom, in the olden times, conforms to even modern times. They don't allow. Can I go and sit in the chair of a high court judge or supreme court? We cannot. It is illegal. It is unjustifiable, because they are meant for those intellectuals. Therefore, here, Saha Asanam Abhiprepsur, if he wishes to sit on the seat of they say, Utkrishtasya, that's all they say. They don't say of any Brahmana and all. Of the enlightened people. Utkrishtasya Asanam. Sahasanam, if he goes and occupies, Katyam Kritaha, the king can cut his hip or banish. That's what he says. Avakartayet Katya. Katayam, Kati and all is waist area in Sanskrita. Katayam means it is backside buttocks or that area, backside area. Krita anko nirvasyah. That's what they say. It can be take a nirvasya va asya ava kartayet. You can cut it off. You can banish or you can cut it off is the meaning. But it doesn't specifically say anything about only for Shudra this punishment is to be given. There may be there in some places where a servant going overboard his authority, a Shudra, has to be given some stricter punishment. There are one or two verses may be there. But it doesn't talk of any untouchability or Shudra as a cause that has to be belittled, demeaned. No, it doesn't say. Now if you go towards chapter 6, verse 90, what beautifully it says? It says, Yatha Nadi Nadah. River rivers in Sri Lanka. Sarve Sagare Yanti goes all the Nadi and Nadas. Nadi Nadaha they say. Nadaha is Sita's Rama Rame Ramaha like that. Bahuvachanam in Sri Lingam also will come Akarantaha. So the rivers go to the sea, Yanti going, Samstidam and unite together, stand together. That means they meet together, they fall into the sea. Correct. Sagaram means in the sea, on the sea. They all meet together. Samstita. Stitaha, tishtati, stita. Stha is the root in dhatuhu. Samstitam, tatha, in that same way also. Yatha, tatha. Tatha, eva also. Ashraminaha, ashrama varnas, the ashrama vashis, the varnas, ashrama varnas, sarve grihaste yanti samstidam. See, so they all go to the householder, grihaste, all the varna, anybody goes to the householder, varnashrama, they go to them, they all unite there. That means all the ashraminaha, all the varnas, including Brahmana, Shudra, Vaishya and Kshatriya, or Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, all of them, if they go, they have to go to their householder for one way or the other. Householder is a grihastha with a family, maybe belonging to any caste, we do not know by birth, maybe a Brahmana generally. They can go to him and take unite there of all the ashraminaha, all the survey, all. So it doesn't say the Shudra cannot go there. It doesn't say Shudra na gacchati, na ganthavyam, na gantum shakyate. It doesn't say all those things. Only the three castes can go, not the Shudra. Does he say anywhere? He says ashraminaha sarve, all. So whether you belong to the Brahmanam or Kshatriyan or Vaishyan or Shudran or Varnashramam like Brahmacharinaha, Grihasthaha, even Grihasthaha. So everybody finally will found into a householder, will go to a Grihastha ashramam. Grihaste samsthitam, they unite together. Because the Grihaha is the finality, is the ocean. Finally you have to go there. That's what he says. It's coming from manusmriti. Chapter 6 and verse 90, he doesn't exclude Shudra from going to the Grihastha Griham. Grihasthanam Griham. So he doesn't prevent them. So he says, Sarve Ashraminaha, Ashramavasinaha, Sarve. So when these being the points, the case studies, Manu does not point out to Shudra as a low caste and untouchable. Wherever Shudras are used, Shudra is used, Shudra Arogyaha and all he says, and Shudraha Bhartuharya Dhanaha. He is a wealth to his master also, he says, a very decent way. He cannot take only medicines, he cannot be a quack. In modern days, you cannot be a quack. You cannot practice medicine unless you have proper licenses. You cannot treat with medicines anybody unless you have licenses, legal licenses. So that is what Manu says. Where does he say Shudra? Wherever he mentions Shudras, he mentions Shudras specifically. Where he mentions Egajati, he mentions. Where he mentions Pashandaka, he mentions. Bhartru Andaka, he mentions. He mentions Apakristajaha, he mentions. Avarajaha, he mentions. Dushta Janaha also he mentions. Wherever way he has to, I told you a particular group was there in India at those times. They were very barbarous. See, you cannot say India had a lot of people who were barbarians, and that group he called them as Bhartrushandakah. So those groups were barbarous. He outclassed them. He called them outcast. They don't belong to these four varnas. See, there is nothing wrong in advising people in those times. As a king, Manu may be a king, and then his followers, or it may be a collection of texts positioning a person, Manu, who could have originated these ideas. And down the lane, some additions are all there, subtractions may be there. But when Manu says about this, when he specifically points out where Shudras have to be pointed out, when he specifically points out where Avaraja has to be pointed out, when he specifically points out where Pashandakaha, that is people, heretics, they defy their own law, but they believe in God, but they have their own, they deny these other things. Pashandakaha, he says everywhere. He also says something about Pukasas, Digvanas, Ugras. See, he has a different classification of tribes that were there who don't belong to these four varnas. So, there is no point here or anywhere in abusing Manu as he is a hater of Shudra, or he doesn't like Shudra. All these things he never says anywhere. He considers Shudras as a dhana. Everywhere we can find out. So, with this I am closing down my part 7 of manusmriti and wrongful interpretations in English, and I shall continue till such time. Bhuyat Tavat Shubhamangalam. Hari Om.